Hello, Oregon. Governor Kotek here. I know we're all feeling the weight of the moment following the results of yesterday's national election. Regardless of who you supported in the elections, it's important to affirm that our democracy is strong and public service professionals across our country worked hard to ensure a safe, fair election. I particularly want to thank Oregon's county clerks and their staff and volunteers for their work leading up to Election Day and the work they're going to be doing in the coming days. If you feel the need to exercise your right to freedom of political expression and freedom of assembly, I ask that you do so peacefully and lawfully. I have zero tolerance for actions that threaten and terrorize others. My office is closely monitoring and coordinating with local, state, and federal agencies to ensure communities and businesses remain safe and unharmed during these tense times. Oregonians have shown they will continue to lead with compassion, courage, and conviction, protecting a place where everyone can be themselves, feel welcome, and have equal opportunity to a healthy, prosperous life. We will continue to march forward and stand together as a shield against any attempt to undermine our fundamental freedoms. Our laws, our policies, and our actions will remain a deterrent to any attacks on our values and our democracy. In the friendships I've fostered across our beautiful state since becoming your governor, I know that good people in every corner are working tirelessly to shape a better future for their families and communities. Let's build on this shared resolve and stay committed to collaboration for the common good. We are strong, resilient, and united by our shared belief in a brighter tomorrow. And as your governor, I will always have your back and work hard to uplift and protect our wonderful state, boldly and with perseverance, in partnership with other elected and community leaders. Thank you.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck, okay, because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms. Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again. It's exclusively bad stuff that happens.
If an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away.
Do it. Do it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck that PC and fuck that asshole! Do it! All right.
Very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
I want to send a message to the Biden-Harris administration. If they see this, they see this. If other bigger creators make similar messages, that would be great. You asked us to mobilize. We mobilized. You asked us to volunteer. We volunteered in droves. You asked us to donate. We donated. Over $1 billion we donated. You asked us to fight. We fought. Now stop asking us to send more money, and the fight begins now, when you know damn well the fight is now in your hands, not ours. Stop showing us that you're going to play by the rules when you know very well that they're not playing by the rules. The rules have changed. You need to take action now. If you voluntarily turn this country over to the autocratic dictator and his clown show of an administration that he's been assembling, if you let democracy fall in this country, if you let millions of people die, and you know millions of people will die under that administration, then your legacy and the one thing you will be remembered for in history is allowing democracy to fall in the United States. The Biden-Harris administration will be known throughout history as the administration that let this country turn into an autocratic dictatorship, and you know we'll never get it back. If the options are dictatorship or civil war, we choose civil war. I choose civil war. Stop playing by the rules and do something.
Some serious allegations this morning facing the State Department.
That's right. According to internal State Department memos, the agency might have called off or intervened in investigation into possibly illegal and inappropriate behavior within its ranks, allegedly to protect jobs and avoid scandals. This concerns the time that Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. We want to get right to NBC's Chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd with the latest. Chuck, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. You know, there's an old saying in Washington that the cover-up is worse than the crime. But in this case, both parts of it are disturbing. Allegations of prostitution and pedophilia, and allegations that those crimes were somehow covered up or not looked into. So the State Department this morning is having to respond to those claims and those investigations of misconduct by State Department officials, including by an ambassador and security agents attached to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And the allegations are that these investigations were whitewashed, quashed altogether, and that those orders came from high up.
NBC News has obtained documents related to ongoing investigations into some disturbing allegations involving State Department personnel and at least one ambassador. A State Department memo says the ambassador, quote, routinely ditched his protective security detail in order to solicit sexual favors from both prostitutes and minor children. The memo also says a top State Department official directed department investigators to, quote, cease the investigation into the ambassador's conduct. It's just one of what another document describes as, quote, several examples of undue influence from top state officials. On Monday, a State Department spokesperson not confirm specific investigations.
I'm not going to talk about specific cases, but I can say broadly that the notion that we would not vigorously pursue criminal